And our next story is about the India-ASEAN drills. India and the ASEAN countries conducted week-long maritime drills. 9 ships, 6 aircraft, more than 1,800 personnel were involved. And on the very last day, the naval ships were in Vietnamese exclusive economic zone. That is when a flotilla of Chinese vessels tried to stalk them. At least 5 Chinese boats, followed by an additional Chinese research vessel, were originally headed southeast, but they took an unusual 90-degree turn and started moving southwest. And this course led them directly towards the India-ASEAN maritime exercises. Let me tell you, these were no ordinary boats. They belong to a Chinese militia fleet, and such militias usually consist of commercial fishing boats. They may seem harmless on the face, but in truth, they work in coordination with the Chinese authorities. And why is that? For spying and for stalking. And they are known to sabotage maritime drills in the South China Sea. The Chinese boats crossed India-ASEAN warships without any face-off, but they did interrupt the exercises. The pattern was broken. Some vessels had to change their directions. At one point, the Chinese research vessel came as close as 16 kilometers to the participating Vietnamese warship. And why is that? Was Beijing using the militia to intimidate the ASEAN countries? And did it intend to disrupt the naval exercise? After all, China has always been possessive about the South China Sea. It has claimed majority of the sea as its own, and it's extremely sensitive to other military presence. And this, of course, was not the first time Chinese vessels did something like this. Only 2 weeks ago, a Chinese Coast Guard ship almost collided with a Philippine patrol vessel. And this happened in the disputed second Thomas Shoal. The Beijing Coast Guard sent a number of radio warnings asking the Filipino ship to leave. And after a rather heated exchange, it came as close as 36 to 46 meters to the Filipino ship, which steered just in time to avoid the disaster. And this came at a time when the Philippines was conducting military exercises with the United States. And before this, a huge Chinese Navy ship shadowed 2 Philippine patrol vessels. The incident happened in the dead of night. The Filipino ships cruised near Subi. For those unversed, Subi is a barren reef that China has transformed into a missile-protected island base. The Chinese Navy ship radioed the Philippine vessels to immediately leave and keep out the ships steamed away, but only after asserting Philippines' sovereign rights to the area. You see, such skirmishes keep happening in the South China Sea, and why not? It is, after all, one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Almost 1/3 of global maritime crude oil trade passes through it, and the sea remains hotly contested, China being the most aggressive claimant, of course. The country, in fact, has been trying very hard to expand its influence. It has deployed military, increased naval presence, established administrative units in the disputed areas, even constructed artificial islands. And these islands are equipped with runways and ports, among other facilities. I already told you about Subi. Other than that, there are Fiery Cross Reef, Mischief Island, and Corteronchi Reef. In fact, China is growing increasingly intolerant of other countries' military presence in the South China Sea, to the point that it is intimidating the warships and trying to sabotage maritime drills. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.